Hiring a painter can be a little overwhelming, especially if you don't know the right questions to ask or what to expect. The last thing you want to do is waste your money. In this video, we're going to go over the essential questions to ask before hiring a painting contractor. Whether you're painting the inside of your home, the outside, or you're tackling a cabinet project, this list will make you feel more confident and prepared when talking to contractors when getting a painting quote. Questions to ask when getting a quote for your project. One of the main ones is, what product are you going to use? A lot of times what you'll hear, a contractor will tell you, we're going to use Sherwin-Williams paint. But what you really want to know is what paint from Sherwin-Williams are they going to use? Sherwin-Williams has really good paint, and then they have low-grade paint. So if they're just going to tell you they're using Sherwin-Williams or Benjamin Moore, there's a good chance that they're going to be using a low grade, which may not be bad for your project, but you want to make sure you're getting what you expect. Number two, how long will my job take? They should be able, at the end of the quote, they should be able to tell you exactly how many hours has been figured for your project, and that should be able to give you a good timeline from start to finish of how many days your project will take. Number three, how much prep work will be done? So when getting a painting quote, 80% of it is prep work. So make sure you have a detailed list of all the different prep that they're going to be doing on your project. This can be so confusing because so many people think that a painter, they're the professional, so I just trust what they're saying and what they're going to do. Unfortunately, in this industry, you really need to do your due diligence and ask all the right questions. Ask about the prep work, make sure that they're doing detailed prep. If 80% of the work is done in the prep and you get a really low bid, that probably means they're just not gonna do the prep the way it needs to be done. Number four, are you using a primer? So this is one of those things that you wanna make sure that if the surface needs to be primed, not every surface does need to be primed, but if it does need to be primed, you want them to state that. Because if you just put paint over a surface that's supposed to be primed, it will just scratch off with your fingernail. I see this especially with woodwork. You want a really good bonding primer that's first on the wood, and then you start putting your top coats on. And then making sure that, again, going back to the prep, that they're sanding in between the coats, each layer of paint that they're putting on. Number five, how many coats are they going to apply? What I see a lot of times on exterior, they'll say that they're doing 2 coats, but really they're only doing 1. So what they do is they put the first coat on, they spray it, they wait a few minutes, and then they put another coat over the top. What 2 coats really is you walk around the house the first time, and you let it dry, and then the next day you come back and you walk around it again, putting the second coat of paint on. Some guys will say the first coat is the spray and the second coat's when they take the roller and work it in. That is not 2 coats of paint, that is just 1 coat of paint. So make sure that you get details on exactly what they're going to do, how many coats they're gonna put on. On an interior project, make sure that when they do 2 coats, they're going to do 2 coats on all the cuts and the roll. Because what a lot of guys will do is they'll just roll a quick coat on real fast. They just cut in one time, which saves a lot of time, but in the end, it's just not going to look the way it's supposed to look. Question number 6, what are you going to do to protect my space? And so there's so many things to really think about here. Some guys, if you're painting, let's say you're painting the interior of a house and you're doing all the walls, woodwork, ceilings, a lot of guys will bring sprayers in to paint the woodwork, and so it's really important that you find out exactly how they're going to protect everything. If they're bringing a sprayer and they really need to cover up your return vents, otherwise you're going to have dust all throughout your house. But you want to make sure that they're going to cover everything with plastic, all the floors are going to be protected. You're just going to want to make sure that they're not gonna, that they're gonna take care of your space the way that they would take care of their own home. 7, just the amount of cleanup. How are they gonna keep your project while they're working on it? Every night, are they gonna pick it up, make it clean, to where, you know, it is a construction zone, but you don't want everything to be tore up. You still wanna be able to use your house at night. Yes, we are there, we're in your way. I get all of that, but at the end of the day, everything should be tidy, picked up. You should be able to still enjoy your space every evening. Next, let's talk about the quote. When you get the estimate, make sure to have the conversation with the contractor. What could make the quote go up? Is there anything that could add on? Because you don't want surprises. With us, a lot of times the add-ons are maybe on the outside when we're prepping it, all of a sudden we find some wood rot. And then what we do is we'll expose that wood rot and show the customer, and then give them a price to fix it. There shouldn't be a lot of things that you're going to have upcharge on, but definitely do your due diligence and make sure that you talk to the contractor and ask what could possibly make this price go up. Sometimes color could, if you go with a color that needs 3, 4 coats, make sure the price is what it is and it's not going to go up. So just make sure to ask that question, because an estimate really is an estimate. For me, an estimate is a quote. The price they give you is the price that it's going to be. But so you just want to do your due diligence and make sure you ask those questions. Now, let's talk about things that you should ask about the company. 1, what is the communication going to be like? And a lot of times you can see this right from the beginning. You don't even really need to ask the question. But I still think even after the quote's given, you should ask the question, because sometimes you'll get the quote and then all communication's gone. So it's very important that you look at the communication from the start of getting the bid. How is the contractor communicating with me? Are they doing what they're telling me they're gonna do? Are they showing up when they say they're gonna show up? Number 2, ask them what it's gonna be like after you sign, after you decide, yes, let's go forward, let's move forward. What I hear a lot is it's hard to get a hold of the contractors after they get your deposit check. So make sure that they have a good system in place to follow up with you and make sure that they're keeping you in the loop on exactly what's next and what you can expect. Always make sure to ask who is the main point of contact. So with us, you're gonna have a contact point here at the office, where she'll kind of keep you up to date on color. You'll talk to her about colors, you'll talk to her about start date and things like that. But then once the project starts, then the next question is, who do you talk to then? And there should be a crew lead, there should be somebody that you're able to talk to on the job, or that is just a phone call away to answer any questions or concerns that you may have. Ask them if they have a warranty. So important. What are they gonna back up? Are they gonna back up their work? Are they gonna back up the manufacturer's product? Ask them what is all into the warranty. It's one thing to say you have a warranty, it's another to make sure that they actually do what they say they're gonna do, and they follow up and they actually do the warranty work. So really get details on that. Look at it in writing. Don't just take their word for it. Make sure it's all in writing. Really important to make sure that they have the proper insurance. And if they have employees, they need to have workers' comp. That is required by law. If somebody falls and gets hurt, or anything that happens, any accident happens, it could come back on you if you don't do your due diligence and make sure that they have workers' comp on all of their people. And then also make sure they have liability insurance. And that way, if they damage something, you'll also be covered. You should ask them if they use subcontractors or it's actually their employees that are going to come in to do the work on your job. And both of them can be okay. The problem with subcontractors is they get an amount from the painting company, and they're going to be in a hurry to just get the project done. So they may skip some of those steps as far as their prep work goes. If it's an employee of the company, there should be procedures, and they should follow all those procedures on how they complete the work. And then last but not least, make sure to ask them how long they've been in business. You know, if you give a warranty and you've just been in business, if you give a 9-year warranty and you've just been in business for a year, I know you got to start somewhere, but I would pay attention to that. I really hope this has helped you in getting a quote from a painter. So many times I've been on jobs where I've just seen people give a big price, a number on a sticky sheet, and I just really want you to know what you're getting into. It's a lot. It can cost a lot to paint your home, so just want to make sure you're comfortable, and hopefully this video has done that. If you're interested in getting a quote from us, click the button below and fill out the information.